Luton. Beautiful place. My parents managed to buy a house on Portfield Road, Blakely, in 1965 for £2,050. But I stayed until I got married, and I never even knew about this Blakely golf course until a year ago. I went to school, but I won't draw on that. That's why grammar schools should never come back. I then did night school for a number of years before getting a job that allowed me to do day release. Now you might not know all about day release. Years ago, yes. And I found a job at day release. Night school, used to go to night school, and used to do the exams at night, but I learned how to drink properly then. Spotted Cow in Oldham was one of my regular hobbies. I started work nearly 44 years ago as a junior at the stockbrokers at the Manchester Stock Exchange. By an amazing coincidence, this has been a recent story in the papers of Gary Neville, one of my favourite Manchester United players, purchased Manchester Stock Exchange building and let the homeless live there until he starts work on converting it into a new hotel. Such a nice man. Gary Neville. I remember now, 9th of November 2002, the last Manchester derby at Main Road. When Feeder Goat took the ball off him and scored the second goal, when City beat United 3-1. Due to this, Gary Neville was voted Manchester City Player of the Year 2002-2003. However, I must remind United fans, Manchester City have not won a derby in the 13 previous years. How times have changed for the better. I've had many jobs over the years and I've worked with some great people. Also, luckily, just a few bad people. Some of which I'm happy to say are here with me today. The good people, I should say. I met Diane when I was 16 and she was 15 in 1971. Ballroom dancing at the court in Arvick Green. Love at first sight for Diane. And for me, of course. On our first date, I took Diane to see Sasha Distel. Oh, and maybe you and John was on the same program. Diane used to go to Manchester High School for girls. And sometimes, during the lunch break from school, she and her friends used to meet me in the pub near where I work. I had to go there buy the drinks for them all. They were only 15, 16, drinking. We married in 1978, a whirlwind romance of 7 years. Debbie arrived in April 1980 and Andrew in August 1981. Sadly, my mother died 3 weeks before Debbie was born and my dad a few years later. I'd like to say that many loved people have left us all, especially Dan's parents. And we know our loved ones who we all think of, and who are not here today, and we all think of them. Me and Diane are very lucky to share our lives with Andrew and Louise, Debbie and Simon, and also our beautiful grandchildren, Luke, Eric, Daniel, and Debbie's bump due in January. We are proud of them all. Me and Diane have been together many years, as you all know. We never disagree or argue. Debbie and Andrew will confirm this to you all. They say Halloween is the start of the Xmas shopping season. Ask Diane, she's not this. But for us men, Christmas Eve is our Christmas shopping. More importantly, over the years I've learned If at first I don't succeed, I should have done it the way that Dan first told me. Was that when Andrew was growing up, he said to me he wanted to be a dustbin man. I said, why do you want to be a dustbin man? He says, because they only work on Wednesdays. 17 years ago, at Main Road on a Wednesday night, when we lost to York City 1-0, Andrew said to me, why am I a City fan, Dad? Andrew, it was well worth the wait. I remember some of the conversations I used to have with Debbie when she lived with us at home. Debbie, turn the music up, please, I used to say to her. Go on, Debbie. Here, take my car for the evening. And here's £100 to spend. Here, Debbie, take the remote. I don't want to watch Match of the Day tonight. Also, Debbie once said to me, if money doesn't grow on trees, Dad, why do banks have branches? I do feel I'm getting older, however. Andrew says it is funny to see me with my mates, Eric and Phil, watching football while me and Eric have a cup of tea. He grew up with Debbie finding my friends spread out on the floor in the morning when they both come down after being asleep. We had a night together partying on the homebrew beer and homebrew wine. Nobody could afford to buy beer, didn't they? I know I am part of the new generation now because when I was getting ready today, I asked Dan to take a selfie of me. When people call me now after 9 at night, they ask, did I wake you up, Joe? People say I look great and add, for your age, Joe. Also, when I received replies to my party invitation from many of you, a lot of you said, we thought you were a lot older, Joe. I would just like to say to the United fans here today, don't forget, the Samaritans telephone number is 016161616. It's lovely to have you here all today, but I'm not going to finish the speech today. Luke's going to say a few words on my behalf.
Hello everyone, my jokes are better than grandma's. What's the difference between a guitar and a fish? I can't tune a fish. Why did the picture go to jail? Because it was framed. What has one head, one foot, and 4 legs? A bed. Why can't you give Elsa a balloon? Because she will. Let it go! Now, on behalf of my grandma Joe from Mexico, I would like to thank you all for coming to his 60th birthday. We both look forward to seeing you all again in 2055 to celebrate his 100th birthday.
I'd like to believe is Andrew and Debbie.
Debbie wrote the speech, so it's not quick. Right, we'd also like to say thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to come and celebrate with us today as we reflect upon life as we know with Joe Oliver, our dad.
As you all know, our dad loves to play the Joker. He particularly likes to take the mickey out of his nearest and dearest at any given opportunity. Andrew and I know this particularly well, as we have already survived 30 plus years of being the butt of our dad's sarcasm. I think the only thing that spared us from being mocked even further was the fact that he much preferred to verbally abuse Man United fans instead. So we feel it's only fair to take a moment and remind, or rather enlighten some of you, to some of the daft things our father has done over the years.
So the first matter that comes to mind is Dad's competitiveness. When we were growing up, Dad is convinced that one of the best ways to teach his children strength of character is through the art of being a gracious loser. And the reason I say this is because I still haven't come to terms with the fact that my dad didn't allow me to win a single game of Snap, Snakes and Ladders, Tennis, Connect Four, or any other kind of contest until we could actually beat him for real ourselves. And for the record, Debbie's 35 and she's never beaten him at anything else.
You are all familiar enough with our dad to know that he has several unique little quirks, as we like to call them. However, I'd just like to focus on a few things that you might be able to relate to. Firstly, there is my dad's skill for consistently calling people by the wrong name or pronouncing it incorrectly. Now, I realise that this talent, and I like to call it a talent because it does it so well, might easily offend, but I'd just like you all to take a second and put yourselves in my shoes and try to understand what it feels like to have spent a lifetime being referred to as son or die. Funny, he always remembers my name during our occasional little heated discussions. Or a particularly stressful situation. For example, the time that Dad decided to teach me to drive. Or perhaps I'll rephrase that. The time that Dad and I sat in his car on the driveway but never actually made it off. I'm sure my mum will fill you in on the details if you need to know.
So there's a small matter of the TV remote which my dad mentioned before. We recently had it clinically removed from his right hand at the hospital. Also, his addiction to spreadsheets. I've not even mentioned that so far. I don't know if you all know this, but I've got this written down, and funnily enough, I told Debbie to cut this speech down a bit, but I'm going to have to. Because I don't know if you know, but he always carries around with him in his top pocket a spreadsheet, and every time he spends anything, you'll see him a little bit later. And he jots down everything. He goes to a cash machine, he writes that down what it takes out, but anyway.
What's your place now? You may know, in fact actually I'm sure you all know about my dad's eye for a bargain. Be it to bog off in Morrison's or a leisurely trip out to B&M Bargains, nothing makes my dad happier than saving a few pounds. And his eyes were recently opened when he discovered the world of Groupon. He has never offered to pay for stolen meals or trips out. In fact, he is never prouder of Andrew or I than when we inform him of our latest eBay antics. Never mind houses, jobs, education.
So when Debbie and I started going out to pubs and nights out, Dad always was eager to offer us a lift on the premise that it would save the taxi fare home. Now, it was on these occasions that many of our friends also became friendly with my dad. So aside from the fact that he would often give them a lift too, he would regularly turn up in the same bar 5 minutes later having picked up and declared, "I just fancied a pint or two, so don't tell your mum."
I don't actually, Dad already touched on this before, but I'm going to say it anyway because we remember it so clearly. Due to our dad being in his early 20s when we were born, he still had the energy and capacity to enjoy and recover from a few beers fairly quickly. We regularly came downstairs on a Saturday morning to a room full of men who'd obviously flaked out on the living room floor after an evening on Joe's home brew. I can't see who's there, Phil, Dave, Eric, is Terry there? Being usual culprits, which brings us on to one of our dad's best qualities, and that is of being a loyal friend. Once you're a friend of Joe, you are his friend for life. He will not forget you, even if he doesn't see you regularly. If you're a friend in need, he is your friend indeed. Generous to the point of doing too much, he will put others' needs before his own and will often go above and beyond to make time for others. Dad treats everybody in exactly the same way and accepts people regardless of age, race, social class, religion and so on. He's never forgotten his roots and worked long and hard over the years in order to provide a good life for us. In fact, some of the best things we've inherited from our dad is our work ethic, sense of independence and pride in our life journey wherever it's taken us and wherever we are yet to go.
So for this, we're very grateful, although something we neglected to actually say to him, we're also very proud. Over the years, Dad has supported us whenever we've needed him. In fact, it was only a few weeks ago that he spent the entire weekend painting my new kitchen with me. I know for a fact that it's not just Debbie and I that Dad helps. There are several of you here today, or this afternoon, that he's helped out in many ways over the years, whether it be helping you move house, help with charity and church events, or most commonly of all, filling in your tax returns for you.
The most important thing to Dad is his family, or should I say, his grandchildren. We are aware that ourselves and Mum are now second best to a certain nearly 7-year-old, 4-year-old and 2-year-old. So perhaps in an attempt to conclude and before